Yay, I'm here with Kathleen Pitt. I'm so excited to be here with you. So, Kathleen is a success coach and energetics advisor known as the quantum psychic, and she is just fierce. And a word that came for me earlier for you was intoxicating, like in
Ooh,
the best sense of the word. I was actually Googling the definition on my walk with my dogs. Like when I first saw your work, I was like, whoosh, like just drawn to you. And
wow,
without
yeah.
even thinking, I just reached out. I'm like, can we connect? You're cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. What a compliment. Thank you.
Yes. And so intoxicating. I think it was like captivating and just like just like this enlivening presence about you. You
Oh,
own who you
thanks.
are and you inspire other people to do the same. So I just feel like pumped to be here with you now. Your
Yeah.
energy's rubbed off on me.
Yeah, that's the hope. Like that it's definitely the dream and like what part of the business is for, right? It's like the whole avenue is getting people to be paid for their purpose, getting people in
Mm,
their power, in their
mm,
soul
mm.
transformation, in the thing that they were born for. And yeah, I think there's a lot of people who feel that call like I know I'm made for more. I know there's more out there for me. Can I even do it? Like, can I do it? And I'm testimony, and of course, my clients are testimony. Like, yes, you can. Like, you just have to just start going in that direction and watch everything move with you.
That's so beautiful. I love that. Okay, so I love to start every episode, like just hearing from your voice, who you are, what you're up to, anything from your mission, which I know you're already tapping into, but your mission in life to what you love to do on a free afternoon.
Yeah. Well, I'm Kathleen. I am a first and foremost a mom and a wife and
Yeah.
a human being. And I think that's always a really important distinction I love to make because you can see people on the internet doing these things, creating this content, creating this transformational journey for others and forget we are real people too. And
Yeah.
it all requires effort and, it comes from somewhere. But I was a nurse practitioner at kind of the height of my career, 10 years in critical care medicine, urgent care, cardiac care. And I had everything you could ever want: the house, the kids, the car, the family, the husband, like all the things. And I hated my life. I just woke up every day and I thought, like, is this it? Like, what did I do all this for? Why did I do it? What's next? If this is the height of my career, like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, that's
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had a huge awakening moment in journey where I discovered that actually I'm meant to help other people who feel that same way, who look at
Well,
their life and realize that
yeah.
they've been validating themselves with accomplishments and achievements rather than self love. And on this journey and on this understanding, like I call myself the quantum psychic because that was given to me in a meditation. This was all very spiritual and soul led and faith led and intuitively led. And in this journey and understanding Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, the intricacies of the gospel and the Old Testament and Gnosticism also came through. And I interweave that through all of my teachings as well, because I
Hmm.
believe that we were all born with a mission. We are all
Hmm.
here to do the thing that only we can. And when we do that thing, that one of one type energy, we can change the world by being just ourselves.
Hmm. That's so beautiful. I love that. Yes, that's so beautiful. And so when you're with your family and you're being human, what's your favorite thing to do in your free time?
Be outside in the sunshine. I live in Detroit, Michigan, like a little bit outside of Detroit. And next year I've told my husband, like, I don't know, I think just every month, like once 1 week a month, me and the kids are leaving. We're gonna go somewhere sunny because I cannot do this,
Yeah.
like this 5 to 6 months of gray and
Yeah.
cold. I'm just not built for it. So anytime I'm outside, anytime I'm in the sunshine, anytime I'm just like living life and laughing with my kids.
I love that. My daughter is that same way. She's like, "Mom, I don't know how you do this. Like, I'm moving down
Yeah.
south when I'm when I'm done with school. I don't know how, and we're in Minnesota. I was telling you. I'm like, "How I don't know. I must be made for this. Like, I don't know, the gray." I'm like, "Oh, it's cozy."
Okay.
And I love being in the sun. Like, I like worship the sun. But
Yeah.
it's so funny. I don't know.
You must be made for it, Kate.
I
I'm just
I don't
not.
know. I'm a weird like Minnesotan at heart. Okay, cool. So something that I saw you say recently
Mhm.
really struck me. So
Okay.
I love thinking and talking about heaven on earth and cultivating heaven on
Oh, yeah.
earth. And you said something like a lot of people talk about heaven on earth and how many people, sorry if I'm butchering it, but and how
It's
many
okay.
people actually live that way. And you
Yeah.
went on to say, like, I love my husband. I think you actually said, like, I have great sex with my husband.
Yeah, I do.
I
Shout out to
love being
Evan.
go Evan. I love being present with my kids. I love the work that I do and I get paid well for it. And you help others do the same, get paid for their soul-led work. And so I would love to hear more about, like, specifically how you went from dreaming of this life that you wanted to live to living the life that you were dreaming of.
Yeah, that's such a great question, and it's definitely not one that can be answered
Yeah,
very
right.
easily.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, for me personally, and for a lot of people I work with, like I talked about earlier about that feeling like you're made for more. Like,
Yes.
for me, I always describe it as no matter where I was or what age I was in life, if I looked up at the stars, I felt this very deep ache in my chest.
Yes.
Like, it was like I was homesick for a place that I'd never been to. And,
Right.
I felt that way when I was 11. I felt that way when I was 16. I felt that way when I was 25. I felt that way when I was 30.
Yeah.
And how do I describe that to, how do I tell people, hey guys, I look at the stars and I'm homesick for a place I've never been?
Yeah.
It's like, "Hey, Kathleen, maybe you just like looking at the stars, you know?" But as I recognized, like, what my mission and what my purpose was in this world, it wasn't like, "I realized who I am, and that's just who I'm gonna be," right? Because really, when I talk about living your heaven on earth life, the
Yeah.
first thing that you're gonna go through is you're gonna start to recognize how you're actually living in your perpetual hell.
Yeah.
And your perpetual hell is actually a perpetual hell of your own creation.
Mm.
And that distinct point, that moment when you take full responsibility for the fact that I'm living a life of hell, perpetual hell of my own creation, when I look down at the chains that bind me to this life,
Yes.
they're not real. They're mine. I
Wow.
made them up in my mind.
Hmm.
So that step first is the first thing to look at, like, where can I take and start to claim radical responsibility of the life
Yes.
that I'm currently living?
Yes.
And when you do that, you can start to create and construct the life that you know is yours. So
Hmm.
there's a tension between this feeling like I'm made for more, there's a life that's mine, and it's different, right? That's the first distinction. It's different than the life I'm living. So why is it different? What does that look like? What changes do I have to make? What frequency do I need to embody? What belief do I need to start to instill in me so that that heaven on earth life can appear? Because in the quantum field, there's infinite timelines, infinite potentiality. So
Mm.
all you need to do to shift into the timeline that you desire
Mm.
is to shift the frequency that you're in now. And
Mm.
then you will become an energetic match for what you're embodying, for what you're calling in.
That's so beautiful. How you know that point of, like, you feel like you're embodying the frequency, but it
Mhm.
takes a while
Sure. Yeah.
for the for the
Sometimes.
external
Yeah.
to, like, shift. Do you feel like sometimes it just shifts? Or, like, sometimes it is, like, a more long drawn out process?
I think that like, I would have to give, like, a specific example. So, for example, one of the
Yeah.
things, like, I have great sex with my husband. I love my husband so much, right? So that's something I talk about a lot with my clients because, when people are going through this awakening process,
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, I can't because so and so's not coming with me, because my partner doesn't believe in this, or because they're kind of mocking me or whatever."
Right.
So, when you have that moment of like, "This is what I desire, but this is what I'm currently facing," well, every time you give me an excuse, or every time you tell me how that reality doesn't match what you want, you're telling the universe that there's an incoherence. You're telling it that there's a dissonance.
Okay.
So it's not actually that it's taking a little bit to catch up. It's actually that you haven't embodied it yet, which is
Hmm.
okay, because
Yeah.
all that is showing you, where am I not embodying this? Where do I
Yes.
believe that it's not possible? What connection am I trying to have with them, or forcing on them, or saying, hey, you have to come with me, or
Yes.
else, like, change your entire life before you can come with me, and then we can be happy, and then we can be together. So
Goosebumps. Yeah.
then you're working with a dissonance and creating that dissonance, and then
Yes.
saying, oh, well, the field hasn't caught up yet. But it's
Yeah.
actually your subconscious, your belief system that needs to be
Wow.
shifted.
Yeah, that's really powerful. That's
And I
really
think like
powerful.
that moment of like this work, I say all the time, it's about radical responsibility. You want your heaven on earth life, you want to have it all. Well, then you need to own that. You need to believe that it's possible. It has nothing to do with anything outside of you and everything to do with what's going on in your internal world. Heaven
Wow.
on earth is an internal game.
Yes. Side note to say, I listen with my eyes closed a lot, and my kids make fun of me a lot. I'm like, that's just how I hear.
That's
I
beautiful.
hear
Yeah, you're
well.
letting the frequency wash over you.
But I'm like, what do you do to meditate in the morning? I feel like you talk about one of one energy,
Hmm.
and I feel that resonance so strongly in you. This
Hmm.
like circle of energy, like in the heart center, that's just like it just keeps coming to me as you talk. Just this really powerful center core about you that you and you
Thanks.
own that one of one. And it's really I love that. I love that about you.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we all have it too, right? We all
Yes.
are one of one. And like even to talk about faith and religion and Yeshua and all these things, like, I there's so much to be said, but really the definition of church or of the church was always supposed to
Mm.
be about people, right? It was about
Mhm.
community,
Yeah.
being together, being in that communion with each other.
Oh,
Well, when you are in that one of one energy, like you are
wow.
one of one, but you are one of all. Like we are
Oh,
all one of one and one of all. And when we embrace that individuality and that oneness and that allness, that
whoa.
is when we ascend together as humanity.
Whoa. And that's the church. That's
That's
the
the church.
original church. Yes. Connecting in that one of one frequency. Wow. That is stunning. I've never heard it said that way.
Good. Well, good. I'm glad I could say it here. We'll say it loud and proud again and again on all of our social channels because I just, yeah, like that is what I think is waking up in people
Yes.
now,
Yes.
recognizing like the
Yes.
paradigms of success that we have given our power away to, whether that
Yes.
be medicine, right? I was a
Yeah.
nurse practitioner. I get that. Whether that be government, we're watching the destruction and the inversion of those powers now, billionaires, money, and like the distortion of that reality. We're
Yeah.
watching these old paradigms right before our eyes, like we're realizing, wait a second, like I have the power. And
Yes.
it's not just in like owning your purpose, it's owning who you are as an individual and recognizing where you've been giving that power away. The church is, another example of where they've
Wow.
asked you to give your power away. But when
Wow.
you can reclaim that sovereignty, reclaim the kingdom within, that
Yes.
is when you are yourself.
Yes. That is so stunning. Okay, so how with the feeling of things crumbling, how can
Mhm.
we avoid falling into fear of losing of what has been and like owning what we're becoming?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think, it's a choice, right? So like again, when you look at like, oh well, what timeline do I desire?
Mm.
Like my heaven on earth is not all of these beautiful things in my personal life and, a nuclear war raging on. It is the like everybody and everything living in harmony. And I
Yeah.
really believe that if we all choose that, if we all choose that timeline, like it's gonna be okay.
Yes.
I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm sovereign, I'm free, then that will be reflected back to us in our external reality, not just our internal one.
I'm going to write that down. I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm sovereign, I'm free. I'm going to try to live from that this week. And
Yeah, I think
yeah.
it's a beautiful energy, and I even think like so one of the things I talk about with this one of one is that you have soul contracts, right, with people.
Yes.
You have a soul contract with the world. You have soul contracts with your clients, with the people that you're meant to influence in this lifetime. And the more and more that you embody that one of one energy, the more and more you stand in your trueness, in your fullness, in your faith, and in your sovereignty,
Yeah.
and you fulfill those soul contracts at a soul and cellular level,
Yes.
then that ripple effect will be felt throughout the entire world. You may not
Oh,
even know the reach and impact that you're having.
yes.
You just have to trust that
Yes.
you living in your fullness and authenticity is
Yes.
the key to unlocking heaven on earth for us all.
Oh, and I think your boldness is one of the reasons that I'm drawn to you. And like you say, you have like people that you're, how did you say it? Like not like
Soul
predestined.
contracts and
Yeah.
agreements.
Yes. Yes. Like there, a lot of times people will call me sweet
Hmm.
and I don't. not that that's not true or not that I don't appreciate that, but the
Yeah.
people that like my husband, he would say, "You're more fire," or like fierce. Like, not to
Sure,
make that
sure.
about me, but I feel like some of the, like, quiet, sweet parts of me, like, in your presence, they, like, want to, like, quiver and fall away and just,
Good.
like, embrace this, like, bold one of oneness. And
Yeah.
so I just say that to say, like, I resonate with what you're saying about soul contracts and feeling like you're meant to, like, work with people at certain times in your life, and you're drawn to people for a reason. And yeah. Okay, so you
Because that
talk yeah, go ahead.
that sweetness, right? Like that sweetness energy, it's a beautiful part of you that probably kept you safe at one point. It kept you safe, like, oh, she's so nice, she's so sweet. We never have to worry about her. We don't have to correct her, whatever it is.
Right,
But really and truly, it's a coping mechanism. It's a safety mechanism that your body and your brain has wired within you.
right.
And I love that you brought that up. And if it's okay, I'll just use it as an example
Yes,
because
please.
to embody that one of one energy, to be bold, to say the thing, to do this, like I am the quantum psychic. I talk about Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. I come from a line of high achieving nurse practitioner. My husband's an engineer. My family was deeply religious. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to say some crazy shit on the internet. I just can't wait to ruffle some feathers. No, it was a lot of feeling like I was going to die because I was owning my truth, but I
Yes,
had to. I had
yes.
to let that version of
Wow.
me die
Wow.
so that I could truly live, so I could truly be in the frequency of who I was born to be.
Oh,
So that sweetness, that persona that people like view you as, you're like, that's great, but that's not really who I am.
yes,
And taking radical responsibility of it, it's like,
yes,
am I being sweet?
yes,
Am I being complacent or complicit? I think is a
yes,
better word there,
yes.
just to make other people comfortable. And what would it look like if I just owned all the fire of who I was?
Oh,
It might make other people uncomfortable, but I would finally fucking feel free.
that's stunning. It just makes me wanna, like, rip out my inner lioness.
Good, good, Kate.
Can
Get
I
it
hear
out.
m yeah. Can I hear more of how you went from being a nurse practitioner to the quantum psychic?
Yeah, sure. It's been a long journey.
Yes, and I do think so this being Jesus energy, and I wanna make space for people that have grown up in a Christian home or in a Christian upbringing to feel free to be spiritually curious and expansive.
Mhm.
And so I do think, and I'm trying to think about how to word this, but like the word psychic can like raise alarms for some people. How do you define psychic? Where do you pull your energy from? That's so many questions. Feel free to go where you want to go with that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so I'll
yeah.
just tell you a little bit about me. So I was homeschooled until I was in 6th grade. I was raised in
What?
a really yeah, I was raised in a really Catholic family. You know, we're talking like prayed the rosary on card trips, Stations of the
Yeah.
Cross with the lights out, like
Yes.
rosary at the chapel every Wednesday, church every Wednesday night, Sunday night, choir, the whole thing.
Yes.
And I went to Catholic school when I did go to school.
Yeah.
So I was not Catholic as an adult. I'm not Catholic now because I don't quite believe in organized religion. If you do, that's wonderful and incredible. Again, it's just about not judging where people are on their
Yes.
journey.
Yes.
But I was at that point in my life as an MP where I hated everything. I didn't want to have anything to do with this. What is life like? And I downloaded this meditation where I heard somebody speak light language. Now,
Mm.
light language, we could call it, the language of the quantum field, or some people call it like speaking in tongues. And when I heard this light language, I had a full body physical reaction, like goosebumps up my arms. I started crying, like shivers down my spine. And I remembered that I spoke in tongues when I was 8 years old.
Mm.
But the leaders of the church at the time were like, what is she doing? Like, make her, like, what? Like,
Mm.
my parent, they were like, did she ever done this before? My parents? And the subconscious really stored that memory as this is unsafe. Like, don't do that because people are going to think it's weird, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I hadn't heard it again until I was 32. And I heard it and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, what is this? And it really, really evolved from there. Like just the amount of things and people that were put into my path, what I was meant to do in this lifetime, the visions and meditations that I would receive of who I am and what I'm here for. And then the words, the quantum psychic came to me one time in a meditation. I was like,
Mm.
okay, like I'll go look her up. Like, who is this person? There was no website, no Instagram handle, nothing. And I just thought that's so wild because if you think about what it means to answer your question, like what it means to be psychic,
Yes.
being psychic is tuning into the frequency and the energy of somebody around you, right? So when
That's
people ask
beautiful.
for a reading, it's like, well, this is what I'm seeing because I'm tuning into that energy. I'm tuning into that timeline that you're embodying right now.
Hmm.
Now, I believe that, when I tune in, and I'm not going to speak for every psychic, but when I tune into an energy, I am giving you your highest self. I'm giving you your highest version. I'm giving
Mm.
you what you need to hear in that moment. Now, if somebody is sitting in front of me and I'm giving them a reading and they're like, that doesn't resonate, absolutely not. I don't want to end up with that person or I don't want that job. Well, guess what? They're going to leave that reading that was destined to happen and they're going to go change their life. So it's never that a psychic
Hmm.
was
Yes.
wrong. It's that
Right.
you were divinely given that
Yes.
intervention at that time to
Yes.
say, no, thank you. I'm going to choose a different timeline because you have free will and you get to choose.
Cool.
So, all of this to say,
Yes.
I think
That's a
like
beautiful way to say that.
yeah, I think too, like, I'm the quantum psychic. I talk about Yeshua. You've got science, spirituality, and religion in one person here to
Oh,
challenge paradigms of the new
oh,
and the old. And I think that's for a reason. I don't think that there's any accidents. And I think it is for whoever and whatever to look at, okay, does the word psychic trigger me? Does the word quantum trigger me? Does Yeshua trigger me?
yes.
Why? And
Why?
then move through
Yes.
that together.
That's stunning. I love that. So, what does Yeshua mean to you now?
Good question. He was a guy 2,000 years ago, right? Caused such a stir, such a reaction. I believe that he's the embodiment of source. Like he is what I always say 100% human, 100% divine.
Yes.
So he was basically coming here to show us what we are capable of, that when we embody our divinity, when we embody our abilities, work with our intuition and not with fear, with love, with fullness, with unity, with capacity, we are capable of performing miracles and magic in our everyday life. That is what the quantum leaps are all about. He said, "You shall do such acts
Yes.
as these and greater." And it's
Yes.
when you own that together, when we
Yes.
all own that.
Yes.
Even Jesus, in some way, again, back to that, like choosing when you have a reading with a psychic and they give you a quantum this or quantum that, and you go and shift and choose. He came at the time that he did, and it was for a beautiful, perfect reason, but it wasn't the full picture. And that's why it said that he'll come again, because
Mm.
even in him, people gave their power and still give their power away to him, to this idea of him.
Yeah.
And when you can reclaim that back and recognize that he was only just a reflection of you, well, your entire life is going to change in that love and sovereignty and peace.
Yes. He was a reflection of you. That is really beautiful. And how did you fall in love with Mary Magdalene, and what does she resemble or embody for you that you love?
Yeah, I mean, I think that she's the missing part of the puzzle, right? So when
Yeah.
I say like Jesus was only half the game or he wasn't giving us the full picture, and there's a reason that Mary Magdalene was really cast into extinction.
Yes.
They tried to silence her. They're still trying to silence her. Even
Yes.
I think it was in the 1950s, the Vatican issued a statement that said, "Oh, by the way, like what Pope Gregory said in 341 isn't true."
Yes.
But it was just
It's
kind of like, and we're gonna move on. Like we're
right.
just not gonna really make that a big deal.
Yes.
So even today, like that part of the divine feminine, it's trying to be silenced, it's trying to be exiled. And, women are not allowing it to be, men are not allowing it to be. We're recognizing that we need both to be
Oh.
one. You need divine masculine and divine feminine to come into unity of self. And we weren't ready then, but we are ready now.
Hmm. Why do you think now is the time?
I just, well, I was going to actually make a post about this today. I think I have existed over many timelines. I'm an infinite being. You're an infinite being. We have probably met in other places before, and this is a soul contract playing out right now. But I am a woman in a first world country with a loving and supporting husband. I'm able to speak freely. I have access to an internet connection that is able to reach an international audience. This is my duty. This is my destiny. If I don't speak on what I'm meant to speak, then who am I betraying and who is going to be waiting for me to say the words that I need to say? It's my responsibility. And I would not have been able to in any other time to do what I'm doing now. So I believe that now is the time, and I believe that people are ready.
That's so moving. The first time I read about Mary, I remember just like shaking, reading and talking about her, and still had those epiphanies and feelings of like, how have I never heard this? Growing
Right.
up, learning about Jesus, but I'm so grateful that her presence is rising in the way that it is and truly moving, which makes me think about your beautiful channeling that you do. And I'm curious, like, how do you define channeling and how do you use it to just improve like your day-to-day life? Like, how does it even impact the way you show up for your babies, your
Yeah.
kids, you know?
That's a beautiful question, Kate. Um, yeah, I think the first thing to remember is that I'm 100% human and 100% divine. You're
Yeah.
100% human and 100% divine. So my vessel, the things that I say, my voice box that I speak from, my
Oh,
hands that I write, the typing that I do, or the content that I create, that is a physical manifestation of
mm,
what is energetically seeking to be expressed through me. So
oh,
even the light language is a physical or like modality in which to get the audible words, the voice
yes.
box and frequency to shift people in the presence of the light language. So it's a
Oh,
physical modality of the energetic expression. So when
stunning.
I channel, I ground myself into a space of I am here, I am divine, I am rooted and grounded in exactly who I am. What is meant to come through me is meant to come through. What is seeking to be expressed through me today. And so
Wow.
that is really the prompt that I use in all of my content and all of my words and all of my expressions. And then you ask like, well, how does that work with my children and how does it work with my, my life? It's like as the embodiment of this, like as the person who is showing up for themselves, connecting into that bigger vision,
Oh,
how am I moving throughout my day? How am
yes.
I experiencing and navigating life's, ups and downs? I have a 5 and 7-year-old. I've got practice, practice, practice. I've had, some days I eat 7 bananas in a row. Some days it's like a 7 course meal.
Yeah.
It's like, gotta roll with the punches, baby. And so this prior version of me several years ago, I was just going off of my past programming. That's what we're all doing, right? We're all going off of our subconscious programming, what we learned
Yes.
in childhood.
Yes.
But I didn't want that anymore. I didn't want my
Yes.
past. I wanted the future. I wanted what called to me. So I changed my subconscious. I changed those belief patterns. I
Mm,
changed what was running in the background so that when I respond automatically, it's coming from a higher place. It's coming from the version of me
mm.
that I can see connected and fulfilled every single day.
That's stunning. That's something I really feel from you, like you have stepped out of your subconscious programming,
Yeah.
that were keeping you small. Is that something that you work with your clients on?
Yes, that is really the work because
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
everybody can say, "Okay, well, I saw a manifestation and I know I'm meant to be doing this." Like the people who come to work with me, they have a vision of what they want their life to look like. I'm
Yes.
not giving them the vision. Like, Kate,
Yes.
if you were to come to me, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, Kate, okay, you've got blonde hair, so you should definitely be on TV and your blue eyes and this." It's like
Yeah.
that's not my goal to
Yeah.
tell you what your soul is.
Yeah.
My goal is to walk with you,
Mm.
keep you to that timeline,
Mm.
remind you what you're going for, remind you what calls your name when you look up at the stars at night.
Oh,
And every obstacle that comes up in your way,
yes.
we're going to look at it and say, is that true? And what could be more true? What did future you do? And I
Wow.
have different things that like move energy and reframe and rewire, but it
Stunning.
really is about addressing what's been running in the background and
Yes.
what are we going to shift and choose and change
Yes.
because your subconscious kept you safe for a long, long time.
Yes.
You have the ability to create new neural pathways. This is neuroplasticity. This
Oh,
is neuroscience,
yes. Yep.
perfectly designed, perfectly perfect, 100% human, 100% divine. This is the ascension of humanity. We have to move past our old programming because we are no longer in scarcity.
Yes. May I ask what is like one small way we can like come face to face with a blind spot of ours and like see what's holding us back or what is a subconscious weight on our on our
Yeah,
being?
back to that like radical responsibility.
Yes.
The first thing I would
Yes.
do, and I was identify something in your life that you'd like to shift, like something
Yes.
that's not happening the way that you want it to happen right now. And then I want you to ask yourself, how could I be benefiting from this in some way?
Yes.
How is this pattern affirming my reality?
Yes.
So, as an example, if you're not getting views on your content, if people aren't looking at you or noticing you at work, how does that keep you safe? How does that
Yes.
benefit you?
Yes.
Because it benefits you in so many ways, right? If
Right.
somebody notices you, you're gonna be seen more. What are
I
they gonna
don't like
think? How are they, yeah, I
confrontation.
don't like confrontation. What are they, all of these different parts of you that kept you safe and
Yep.
in some instance when you were younger, but it's not serving you in your
Mm.
highest timeline. So it's
Mm.
always the question of how does this benefit me in some way? And
Yes.
what do I want actually? What can I do to shift it?
Yes. I love that, and it's funny, and I say this in case this lands for someone else too, but as I heard myself say, "I don't like confrontation," I had a memory of 6, 7-year-old Kate who wanted nothing more than to grow up and be a lawyer and argue for a living, you know? So it's just kinda one of those moments of like, well, really? Like, not that I don't wanna argue, and I don't like upsetting people, but, like, we are powerful enough to stand in our truth and don't have to fear that.
Somewhere along the way between 6 and 7 and now, you've learned that being sweet and avoiding confrontation is a safer way of being.
Yes.
And so that will keep you safe, but it will not keep you challenged. It won't lead you to your highest timeline.
Hmm.
So you get to shift it, you get to change it, you have the power and control.
Wow, wow. Whew, breathing into that one for a second there.
Take your time.
So, when your clients come to you and they have a vision for what they long for in their life, and, when they look up at the stars, that pull that they have on them, something else that I love about you is how you say, like, you are meant to get paid for what lights you up. You are meant to create wealth in your soul work in this life.
Yeah.
If there is one thing that you could redefine for people about wealth or abundance, what would that be?
I think it doesn't have to be hard.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot you could say about that. I know
Yeah.
even like in religion, there's all this stuff about
Yes.
evil. Money is the root of all evil, but that's not
Yeah.
what's coming through. What needs to be said for your audience is it doesn't have to be hard.
Yes.
You don't have to work hard. You don't have to give yourself. You don't have to slave. A lot of people actually hold themselves back from chasing their dream or doing that thing or launching that product because they think it means they're going to burn out like last time. They
Wow.
think it means they're going to end up in a space that they did last time. Again, that's just your subconscious keeping you safe, and it's
Wow.
okay. It's all right to acknowledge that that part of you happened.
Wow.
But being wealthy does not have to be difficult. It doesn't have to mean anything about your existence or how good or bad you are.
Mm.
Money is neutral. We apply
Mm.
the charge to it.
Mm. What does wealth or abundance mean to you?
It means freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have wealth and abundance in a lot of different things, but I believe that wealth, living in your purpose, wealth is true freedom to
Mm.
experience life the way that your soul knows that you were meant to experience it.
Wow. And so this may be silly, but like, so you do feel like you can just be yourself, share your gifts with the world, and in exchange, like get money.
For money, yeah.
To
Yes,
break it
Kate,
down, like this
for
can
real
happen.
hard cash, not monopoly money, real hard cash money. Yes.
Because I mean, I grew up, my parents were opposite ends of the spectrum. Hilariously ended up marrying a financial advisor. It's just like, our relationship with money is so funny. And I would love to hear, would you care to share any of your like money story?
Oh, yeah. I was about to ask you, like, do you know my money story?
I do know a little bit of it, and I think it's stunning. And
Yeah,
yeah.
my dad worked a lot of jobs, multiple like hours. I think at one point he was maybe sleeping 5 hours a day,
Well,
and working tons of jobs. We just didn't have a lot. 5 kids, homeschooled. Then they sent us to private school. We just didn't have a lot. And I remember one time we were driving to church and my parents were arguing. I've told this story before. My parents were arguing about where what place to go to get the Sunday paper for the coupons, and the gas mileage was like one or the other. And they were arguing over like gas mileage versus the extra quarter to
Yeah.
buy the newspaper that was farther away or closest,
Yeah.
etc. And I just remember being like, "Oh my gosh, like, what are we fighting about?" Like, on the way to church. But that was the programming,
Yes.
right? It was like, calculate everything. Every single move must be calculated
Mm.
so that you don't make the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Because if you make the wrong choice, it's tense. There's
Yeah.
arguing, there's fighting.
Yeah.
Now, my parents were just doing like what was popular at the time. Like Dave Ramsey was really popular.
Yep.
Scarcity, frugality. The church really perpetuates that belief as well,
Yes.
and they were just doing their best. And I did have all of my checks. When I was a kid, I was working 3 jobs while I was doing AP classes and varsity sports. And my parents had me deposit
Mm.
all of my money into a checking account that were like, you don't have access to it. Don't even try. And then when I was 18, the story is I walked into the bank to withdraw this money. I had a person in my corner like, no, you can do this. I'll go with you.
Mm.
And I said, I'd like to withdraw everything, please.
Mm.
And they were like, okay, you can have it. It's $8.37. And
Mm.
I was like, oh, like you can have it. Like, I don't want it. And I was 18. So I left and then I moved in. I think it was my boyfriend's grandmother
Yeah.
because it was like, I don't know. How am I supposed to like go back and live with my parents?
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago. My parents
Yes.
and I have talked and made up, and we've just, discovered how we were both like, miscommunication and what they could have done better and all of those things.
That's
But
beautiful.
yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. It's
Yeah.
definitely been a process.
Yeah.
But it was that moment at 18, it's like that put me in fight or flight
Yes.
for probably until about 2 years ago. Because it's
Yeah.
like, if I get money, someone's gonna take it from me.
Right. Yes.
That's the unconscious belief that always
Yes.
ran the show.
Yes. Yes.
So that knowing like a little bit about my story, my background, like even at the height of my career, NP, all of
Right.
these things,
Right.
it didn't matter
Right.
because I was in, the money came and out it went. I was not
Yes.
getting very well paid for
Right.
being in that career because I didn't have I just threw it all away.
Wow. Right. What a powerful story. That that's just it's so tender and powerful, and I'm, like, in awe of how that's helped create who you are. Can I ask, like, is there anything that you say with your kids to help talk about the spirituality of money or and they're still little, but
I don't know. I'm butchering that part, Kate. Because if I tell them, I'm like, money is infinite supply, like
yeah.
wealth, and they're like,
Yeah.
great.
So
I've
let's
been
go to
wanting a ring
Target.
pop, mom. I want a ring pop every day. You're like, no. We talk a lot about like value, like
Yes.
price, investment, longevity. Like we kind of talk about what are you making it mean and what do you want to spend?
Stunning.
But it is tough because even in that aspect, you're still showing them the finite amount
Right.
of money,
Yeah.
but it is
Yeah.
something I think that we'll always continuously work on together
Yes.
and reaffirm like, yes, money is an infinite supply. However, we are going to spend this money on the mortgage or we are going to
Yes, yes.
spend this money on the groceries or whatever it is.
Yes. And they feel that frequency from you
Yes.
of your
That's what I'm
truth.
banking on,
Yes.
Kate. That's
For sure. For sure. Okay, so your new program, is it called Christ Consciousness Codes?
yes.
Awesome. What is that about and who is that for?
Thanks for asking about it. So Christ Consciousness Codes is really the story of everything I've been through, but you don't have to go through it. So it's, a lot of times when we have like entrepreneurs or people who make money or make wealth, they're doing really well and they make money and they have resources, but they're fighting with their partner. Every time they go on
Say.
vacation, they're thinking about their next thing. Every time they eat a burger, they're like, well, I got to go to the gym to burn this off. It's this very much focus on one individual part of your life. And if
Wow.
one's going well, the belief is that all the other ones are going to fall. But that's not
Huh.
true. It's like actually
Yes.
when you work with totality, when you work with unity, when you work with love, and you work with Christ consciousness, and you really embrace this one of one energy, every single aspect of your life
Wow.
gets to be elevated as a byproduct of your being.
Mm, that's stunning. How who would you say it's meant for?
I would say it's meant for people who are doing well financially
Yeah.
and doing well in their business, but they feel attention. They feel like there's something that they're not fulfilling. There's something that they're not saying. There's an
Mm,
identity that they're not living in. They recognize that although one part of their life is going well, the other parts aren't. And they
yes.
know that it's not supposed to be that way, that it's
Yes.
actually supposed to be in full and complete totality of the limitless existence that they know is theirs.
I love that. Okay, so the word code, and you've in your content that you share, you'll share a lot of codes. What exactly is a code?
I don't know. I
I'm
think
like, I
it's
just
whatever
want
you think it
to.
is.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I think we all have we have our DNA, right? Like, that's just
yes,
a
yeah,
human thing. And the way that light language shifts people and activates
yes,
them, I
yes.
believe that it activates certain parts of their DNA. And so
Cool,
in these codes, it's like what I see it, envision it as a psychic is like it's a key. It's a
cool.
key to
Yes,
unlock like the infinite version of yourself.
yes.
When you receive the information, when we talk about the limitless existence, when you receive the energy, when you activate these parts of yourself, when you work with your subconscious, these are all codes and key sequences to move you into that ascended state, that elevated place of being.
Oh, I love how you said that. And I could feel that from the word code when you share it and when I see other people write about it, but
Yeah.
I've never really heard someone specifically talk about it, so I think I just wanted to like hear you
Yeah.
say it, you know? The words are so beautiful, and there is just like a truth of like it's just so refreshing, like going about my day-to-day life and then getting to encounter someone like you who is in your truth and speaking about these realities and truths that I know in my bones and I am remembering and waking up
Mhm.
to. It just literally feels like in my cells, in my skin, on my legs, on my arms, like cells are actually waking up in me when I get to
Yeah.
hear you talk and teachers like you speak. And I know other people feel that way too. So I feel very lucky and fortunate that there are people like you doing the work that they're called to do. And you're helping other people do the same. It just is
Yeah, and I think,
good,
like,
good work. Yes.
even as you're saying that, you said, like, "You think you can just get money to be yourself?" Is that what you're saying? And I am saying that because this is just me, right? This is just who I am. This
Oh,
is my frequency. And
yes.
what you're seeing in me is
Yes.
just a reflection of what's available in you. It really has nothing to do with me. I even tell people, I'm like, when you were born, where you were born, it was a soul contract. Like, you decided when you were going to be born, what time you were going to be born, and what family you were going to be born in so that your astrological chart
Mm,
could support
mm,
you on your journey. And everything that ever happened to you, every adversity, every block, every obstacle, it had nothing to do with you and everything to do with the people that you were meant to help. It didn't
mm,
happen to you, it happened for you. And
mm,
frankly, it had nothing to do with you
mm.
and everything to do with the people that you are meant to help and guide in that
Wow.
lifetime. And
Wow.
when you can recognize that the
Yes.
entire existence, if you look back to when you were born to now, that you are here to help others by just being,
Yes.
and that's going to activate you. It's going to activate the people who listen to us. It's going to activate other people as that ripple effect grows.
Mm.
That depth and that truth, rooting into that truth, that's going to be the thing that will change your life.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Quick, back to light language. So you would say that that's synonymous with speaking in tongues?
I
Like
believe so,
it's,
yes.
yeah, yeah. And do you just feel like a call on your spirit, on your heart to speak in it?
Yeah, it comes
Yeah.
through typically if I do like an activation in my, excuse me, I have something in my eye. It
Shoot.
typically comes through when I have like an activation for my, lives. If I'm doing a live on Instagram, all of my activations in my programs have them. Sometimes like I'll be with another psychic or with, something's coming through and it just flows, or I'll be in the car by myself and it'll just flow. And sometimes if I'm like, I have what I would call like a dialect that comes through me, but then
Yeah.
sometimes other dialects come through me. And I think that they're to awaken other people. So then when another
Cool.
dialect comes through, somebody hears it, they're like, oh my gosh, that was for me. That
Wow.
sounds like something I would speak. So it's not like Spanish, it's not like German. You can't
Yes.
learn it per se.
Yes.
It's something that's felt and spoken, and I know that it's divine, and I know that it has a very specific reason.
So you do hear lots of different variations
Mhm.
of what it sounds like.
Mhm.
I heard you, because it's funny, I can feel myself resisting. I also, like, speak in tongues or light language over my babies, just here and there.
Nice.
And when I heard you speak, I was like, "Oh, I think mine sounds quite different." I don't know, when it's new and I'm, like, not really around people that speak it often, there's a part of me that was
Sure.
like, and I don't even need the affirmation, but because I know, like, I'm connecting with God. Anyways, just a tangent. I just don't get to talk to people a lot about light language and
Yeah. I think it's more
speaking
important,
in
like,
tongues, so it's just like, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's more important how it makes you feel or like what it feels like going through you. And there's so
100%.
much like in the spiritual community that I just do not participate in when someone's like, oh, well, that's different than mine. So that's from the devil or that's from this lower frequency or vibration. It's like,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, like, no, that's not the point. And the more that you're in that space of looking at it from a judgmental lens, it's like,
Yes.
well, I don't know, like, okay, well, I'm not really going to take advice from you. I'm not saying any of that's wrong
Right.
or right. I'm just saying, I'm just not going to listen to you because
Yes.
I know my truth. I know who I am. I know what I'm being. And I know what's coming through me is for my highest good,
Mm.
evolution.
Yeah, that's so it's funny because my brother had a opposite experience as you with speaking in tongues at church growing up. He went to, like, a very I forget what they're called, church, and because he wasn't speaking in tongues, they were like, "You're not filled with the Holy Spirit, and you need to, like, figure this out." So
You hate that? It's like, oh no, why are
right.
people saying that?
Yes. So I love that we're moving into a time of, like, letting go of both ends of the spectrum of judgment and fear and just, like, coming alive in love and connecting with the Holy Spirit. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like even like on both ends of that spectrum, right? Like, Joshua said, like, he who has not sinned cast the first stone.
Yes,
So
right.
why is anybody like acting as the authority figure
Yeah.
or saying what's right and what's wrong? It doesn't make sense, right? Like if you
Yeah.
really look at the teachings of Jesus and like what the church perpetuates, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. When
Yes.
you claim that ownership and that divinity inside of you and know without a shadow of a doubt who you are because you love yourself so much, right?
Mm.
That's something I always implant in my clients is I love myself so much, nothing can shake me, nothing can stop
Oh,
me. And that foundation, that truth, that is where you move from. That's the ground that you walk on. And when
oh,
you walk on that ground, you'll see how much more fertile everything is around you.
I love myself so much, nothing can shake me, nothing can stop me. That's so beautiful, and I can't think of a more beautiful way to close. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. Before we go, can we do some rapid fire questions that I love to end with? Awesome. But I just want to say thank you for what you're doing in the world. I love your energy. I love your power and your just divine, feminine, lioness ways.
Thanks. I'm glad it comes off like that, Kate.
Heck yeah, it
Perfect.
does. It really does. I love it so much. Okay, so the first question, I'm like, oh yeah, what are they again? So when or how do you remember the presence of God from within your physical body?
Like the first time or just when it happens?
Any time when it happens. Yeah.
I would say at the beginning of my because now I feel pretty in union with
Yes.
God and source all the time.
Yeah.
I would say at the beginning
Hmm.
of this journey of being the quantum psychic 2 years ago, I felt it very strongly in my third eye, and I actually
Mm.
have felt like my head being physically pulled back or to the
Wow.
side
Yeah.
by an unseen external force.
Wow.
That got my attention.
Yeah.
I got it.
And how about the presence of Jesus?
He's
You
always on my right side.
Oh, oh,
So it's always like my right side was blocked for a long time, and it
oh,
was when I recognized why, is because I wasn't ready yet to
oh,
know that it was him. I would
yeah.
have been like, "Ew, no, that's so weird. I don't wanna talk about that." So when I was ready to see him not from a space of where the religion taught me, but instead from a place of where my intuition has guided me, I
Mm,
will feel this huge expansive energy on the right side of my head.
mm. Do you feel Mary on your left?
I do. She's always there. She's never left or gone. Like, she's just there. I actually have what I would consider she's always there, and I have really bad left shoulder pain, left neck pain, and left hip pain
Okay.
for years until I
Yes.
started doing this work because she was
Yeah.
carrying the burden
Wow,
of, like,
really?
everything else. Yeah.
I
Yeah, and I
love
have
that.
scoliosis, which is, the curvature of your spine. I've
Yeah.
had it since I was a child.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see after being balanced by the energies if how much of that has been corrected. I haven't gotten an X-ray since, but that
Well, I'm
they were always like,
curious
"Oh, you
too.
have left pain because of your scoliosis." And I'm like, "Well, what about now? I don't have as much pain."
Wow. That is amazing. Wow, you're so cool. What does faith mean to you?
Well, I think like faith as a definition, means seeing the unseen or like believing in the unseen. I think it's important in a way, like it's a weird word, right? Because faith has been associated with religion and with church, but I have unshakable faith like in myself, and that is how I quantum leap fast, right? That so faith is actually related to quantum.
Mm,
So faith is really energy
mm,
in something you cannot see, and you have the power to control where that energy goes.
that's beautiful. I love your story of just like moving through religion that can I say was harmful to like seeing Jesus in a pure way. It's really really beautiful. Okay, how do you hear from God and what may I ask are you hearing right now?
So I actually believe like I am God. Like you are God, I am God, the world is God, universe is God, right? So when I used to in the beginning of my journey would be like, I need a sign, and then I would see the repeating numbers. And my husband like would be like, well, you're just looking at the clock at the right times, and I'm like, okay, well, universe, God, show me it differently. And then everything I bought was like $4.44,
Right. Yeah.
$111,
Yeah.
$222 or whatever it was. And I was like, see, it's not just the clock. Like now it's everywhere I go buy something. But now I really believe that those signs, that those numbers are actually me. And I'm
Mm,
showing myself like you're on the right path, you're on the
mm,
right way. And
mm.
it's not saying like, oh, I'm God over you. There's no dominion or power. It's just
Yeah.
like this is a reflection of me
Yeah.
showing me that I'm on the right
I
way.
hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just
Yeah.
don't believe that there's really any separation. So when I like what is like speaking through me, when I'm in my purest, form of channeling what is meant to be expressed through me today as the physical expression of the creator, it is truly right now the embodiment of Christ consciousness code. So it is being one, having it all and understanding that I have control over every facet of my body.
Wow. And lastly, I love to end every episode with an invitation to healing. Anything from like a mindset shift to a physical action, something that we can bring with us for the week ahead. And we've done so many, but if
Yeah,
anything
I know. Let's see.
specifically like pops out at you that you would love to invite us into.
I invite everyone listening to this for the next 3 or 4 days, however long you can sustain the energy that you hold, to trust yourself. And not in a way of like, okay, I trust myself, I'm going to have a good day. I mean, when you hear something, when you see something, when you feel called, your heart is telling you which way to go. Instead of saying, okay, well, I could have just been looking at the clock at the right time, or I could have just known that, somewhere in the back corners of my mind. Instead of gaslighting yourself to go
Oh,
back to logic, I want you to just own that you are that powerful, that you are capable of miracles and magic, and that your intuition is trying to get your attention. And even if you don't believe in this stuff fully, you're just kind of dipping your toes in. Do it as an experiment for
yeah.
3 or 4 days
Yeah.
and just see what happens. Because
Mm,
you can go back to the old way. It's okay. I'm not going to double check on you. I'm not going to be following up. You can go back to the old way. But if you're just curious for 3 or 4 days, trust yourself fully and see what happens.
that's beautiful. Trust and devotion are my focuses this year. I love that. And I okay, so that's the end, but I realized I didn't ask you about the Essenes. Is there
Oh, okay.
anything like what do you love about the Essenes and is there anything you want to say about them before we close?
I think, well, I'll tie it back into like the missions.
Yeah.
when you look at like, Yeshua's mission, right? He was here, he was sent as the embodiment of love to show humans like what they were capable of, 100% human, 100% divine. I believe, he came from the Essenes. That I don't even say like I believe is in like that's just my belief. I mean, I know that
No,
that's
right.
true. He
Yes.
came from the Essenes, and the
Yes.
Essenes were this very powerful group of people who were trained in the teachings of Isis, who were trained in the teachings of water, of flow, of quantum healing. So he had this beautiful tribe or family behind him, community in a way that supported him and showed him how to do the things that he was doing, or to do the things that he showed others how to do. Perhaps the Essenes did this mostly in secret, and then Yeshua came forward as the human embodiment of that.
Huh.
But what I want everyone to know about this is that he had a team of people behind him telling
Wow.
him, "We believe in you. You
Wow.
can do this. This is
Wow.
how you do it."
Wow.
You are remembering. We all have this capability inside of us. You have to remember.
Wow.
And that's almost more difficult because you don't have a community of people telling you, you can do it, yes, you can, etc., unless you get the support, unless you have
Wow.
somebody else behind you
Yep.
saying, "You're not crazy. This is
Yes.
happening. This is
Yes.
real. Let
Yep.
me show you how it's done."
Wow.
So I want you, when you feel like these words wash over you, or the way that Kate had some responses to this and saying, "Wow, I do feel this way. I do recognize this is truth. What
Yes.
do I do now?"
Yes.
I just want you to remember you are that powerful. You don't have a community of people yet backing you or telling you how to do it. And you are ready for that.
That's stunning. I'm really glad I asked. I've never heard it in that way. That's that's really cool. Is there
And then you
like a
can,
good book on the Essenes that like how can I
I
research
don't,
them?
I read Anna, the grandmother of Jesus. Have you read that book?
No.
Oh, you'll love that book. It's a really good book. It's very interesting because the author, Claire Hartsong,
Yeah.
brilliant. She channeled the whole book,
Wow.
and then she did not publish. She didn't like advertise it, and she actually went into hiding. Like she doesn't do any press. She doesn't
Hmm.
have any social media.
Hmm.
Nothing. And the book spread by word of mouth, and
Wow.
it's still going strong.
Wow.
She did a second one, and I'm halfway through the second one, and I can feel her fear and trepidation in writing this book
Hmm.
because I don't think that she had the adequate support to get her mission out there, which is, it's her journey and it's fine. But yeah, it is a very beautiful book that was a message that had to be shared, that needed to be shared,
Hmm.
and it went on despite, no modern marketing, anything.
Wow. That speaks to my writer heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are a force. You're amazing. I really have so enjoyed our time together today. Thank you for being
Yeah.
here. Where
Thank you
can
for
we
having
find you?
me.
I'll put all your links in the episode,
Okay.
but the
I'm the
quantum
quantum
psychic, yep.
I'm the quantum psychic on all platforms. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'll give you, Kate, my freebie. So it's a quantum leap training and a light language wealth activation
Cool.
for people to
Amazing.
download.
That's exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, of
Cool.
course.